Hi, men's equality advocate here, Alan Millard. Standards held by prostitutes are now higher than those practiced by most women. If men can be or are capable of still being shamed for expressing themselves or exercising their needs, then they have yet to be liberated from the oppressive, misandric chains that bind them. However, the reality is that a man has even less reason to be degraded for having to buy sex from a prostitute or escort because of what exists in his potential to acquire sexual fulfillment on the outside of this profession. He not only buys sex anyway in the social dating mating process, but pays a much higher price in the dating mating process. If any shame is due to men for exchanging money for sex, wouldn't that be more the case for patronizing the current social conditions, in which case men are not assured of getting a fair exchange and subject themselves to rejection, egotistical/emotional mind games, being trapped into an unwanted pregnancy and enslaved for child support, entrapped per criminal liability, rape, or sexual assault, solely defined at this discretion of the female, and wasted time spent and may still not even acquire sexual fulfillment as they pay for this frustrating process too. The mating dating arrangement is now a much worse option than what prostitutes offer men. Prostitution is sculpted to a man's discretion, his choice. It's ironic that only when sex becomes a business transaction, the arrangement provides a man more protection than does our Constitution, that fails to prevent sex discriminatory laws and practices to exist against men. Again, only in the case of prostitution are men assured of receiving fulfillment of their sexual needs without being subject to criminal liability, their frustration, humiliation, rejection, time and delay of fulfillment with comparatively less expense. A much better deal ensues, and to the majority of women's disgrace, this places the average female far below the level of a prostitute. Per accountability, even basic character. But this more ethical arrangement threatens women and their evil use of their sexuality to manipulate and entrap men per their sexual needs. And despite this extreme imbalance in sex need, women will deny it and even claim, in the face of their behavior dictating the opposite, that their sexual needs are somewhere close to men's. If that isn't ridiculous, what the hell is? If there's any time when profanity were appropriate, this is it. Bullshit. The blatant hypocrisy should not be given a second thought. Ridiculous. Though this profession would not exist, nor would all the injustices sculpted around manipulation and contributing to criminalizing men via their sexuality, if this were the case. We have to get out of our minds that men are in any way obligated to serve women, just like women are not in any way obligated to serve men. the social scene as well as the political climate, even its process, is very female biased. Both conservative and liberal mindsets, Republicans and Democrats, stand against men on this front. But once you change the people's minds, the government will eventually follow suit. If a female prostitute can be a man's equal as a mature, accountable adult, then why can't all women? As a standard, be the same and held to the same level of accountability. Why not? If modern day women are not irresponsible, then why are prostitutes held to a higher standard than are women outside of that profession? It's because of money, business. In addition, although men still have to pay for it, these female professionals in the oldest profession at least put out a mutual effort in the sexual process, and it's sincere. Not false promises, in which case men are criminally set up and entrapped. State monitored, as the profession is in Nevada, men need not worry about STDs either. In summation, does business law override all other laws? When the sex for money trade-off is legal and sex can be bought just like any other commodity, then that, as a business transaction, ensures that men are protected with their needs secured without being subjected to potential criminal liability at the fickle female's discretion. Women, by the profession's standards of business practice, as a business practice, are held to an adult standard rather than a substandard level to the discretion of a child who has to her arbitrary discretion whether or not a man is a criminal for merely performing his part in the sexual process. All women need to be held to a higher standard and accountability level as to that of an adult, and thus as equals to men per law and social practice. As of now, prostitution stands as a much better choice for men. We just need more legalization of the profession to make this secure and safe sex exchange more available to men. This can actually be a compliment to men going their own way. Have a good day.